them as they turn it over. And Baldy! Oh, man! He is hot!
Well, we've got another winter storm warning. It certainly feels like hockey season, so we might as well extend it as long as we possibly can. Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Enough Said. It's Friday night. I'm Justin Gaard. We've got Noujaim on the move, the Instagram star, Pierre Noujaim from Fox 9 Sports, filling in for Dan this week. And, of course, Lori Fisher, mad at me because I got a little sunburn last weekend.
How dare you?
I got the pre-show scolding, but she's allowing me to work at least for this week. Hi, Lori.
I loaned you the high-end lotion.
Yes.
So hopefully it'll do its job.
I'm very well moisturized today.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes.
That's
I
good.
can't believe you haven't learned your lesson.
No, I know.
Well,
Wait till I come back in a few weeks. It's going to be worse.
Sounds like a new sponsorship opportunity for the
It could
show.
be. It
I'm
could be.
texting your wife after the show about you.
I have no comment on
Okay.
that. Enough said.
The Wild are first in the Central and on a 3-game winning streak. They beat Colorado on Wednesday and play the Golden Knights Saturday in Vegas and then at home on Monday. The regular season coming to an end soon, April 13th. Just 7 games to go, Justin.
Yeah, and Pierre, you've just got here, what, a couple of years ago? How long have you been?
It's been 5 now.
5. So
Five.
have you picked up on the fact that, like, nothing good ever happens here? At least we never think anything does.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah, and things cataclysmically come to an end.
Yes.
I'm not here to dispel any of those notions. All of those things are true, which is why I've always contended that when you have something going on like you do with the Wolves or with the Wild, and to a lesser extent the Wolves, and even going back to the Vikings in the fall, you have to take the positivity when it comes, because you never know when the train's going to stop. You never know when they're going to say, season's over, it's done. Historically, the last decade or so for the Wild, it's been in the first round of the playoffs. But this has just been an unbelievable run. And to have that Wednesday night where both the winter sports pro teams had huge games, and to have the Wild play like they did in Colorado, the team that everybody thinks is the defending Cup champion is still probably the team to beat in the Western Conference, to go in their building without Kirill Kaprizov, to essentially dominate the game, get a bad penalty against you late that every Minnesotan's going, this is where it turns, it's over, and to turn it into a shorthanded goal. I can't say anything bad about the Wild. This has been an unbelievable stretch. They now have Vegas in their sights for the best team in the Western Conference. So I enjoy this stuff as long as they tell me I can.
Guardsy, I don't know about you, but over the last couple of months, I kind of look at this team, and I'm looking at the standings, I'm checking in, I'm watching games, and I'm thinking to myself, how does this team have 97 points? And the reason why I say that is because they're not really flashy. They don't seem to really overwhelm you. They're just a steady train that stays the course and gets the job done seemingly on a nightly basis. What is it? One regulation loss in the last 20 or 21 games?
21 games, you got it.
21 games. So, I mean, that is an unbelievable feat, especially when you consider that Kirill Kaprizov has been out for half of that. Matt Boldy has emerged as a potential star for them. So this team just seemingly finding a way, getting into a groove, and finding a way to get the job done night in and night out. You mentioned the Vegas Golden Knights, a monster next couple of games for this team, a home-and-home series for the potential top overall spot in the Western Conference. And not only that, you still have to worry about Dallas and Colorado breathing down your neck. So this is going to make for an exciting end to the finish of the regular season. Unlike, you have a team like Boston that's run away with it, and they don't really have to put their foot on the gas. But Minnesota, you got to stay sharp every night to make sure nobody creeps up behind you. So I think that's a little bit of an advantage at the same time for Minnesota.
16-1-4 in their last, 21 games, as we mentioned. 10 of those without Kaprizov. They're getting great goaltending. And
30 seconds.
Credit to Bill Guerin, by the way, because they're doing all of this the last 2 seasons really with monstrous salary cap ramifications because of the decision that they made to buy out Zach Parise and Ryan Suter. And even you go back like 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, this team was 9th in the Western Conference. And so this run has obviously elevated to that, but they're doing it with all now self-imposed restrictions because of the buyouts, but it was the right thing to do at the time. And credit to Guerin to find the right guys for the right moment, and credit to Dean Evison and the staff for putting them in the right position.
Enough said. Talk about March Madness for the first time ever. All 4 number 1 seeds in the men's tournament didn't make it to the Elite 8 or the Final 4. A lot more upsets from double-digit seeds. So what's going on? Some saying the transfer portal, more movement with players, and the NIL players getting paid for their name, image, and likeness at schools outside of the Blue Bloods like Duke, Kansas, Kentucky. Pierre?
Well, I mean, I hate to give you a ho-hum answer, but to answer your question, Lori, I don't know what's going on. It could be very well could be some NIL movement and guys having the opportunity to profit off their names in other places, and maybe they get a better deal in other places. So, yeah, I'm sure that has something to do with it. But you know what? I don't really have a full answer of what's going on. All I'm going to tell you is, who cares? This tournament has been as unpredictable as I've ever seen watching this tournament. And you know what that makes it? fun. It makes it fun. Now, granted, if you're somebody like me and you had your brackets and you had a chance at some major money, and now that went out the door after the second round of, you kind of learn to live with it. And then you think to yourself, hey, you know what? Let's get weird. And you know what? We have gotten very weird in this tournament. There's a chance that Miami and FAU could meet in the final. Two teams from the state of Florida. Who would have ever thought that? The Florida Gators obviously were very good back in the day, but FAU and Miami potential final? Woo! That's wild. I never would have thought I would have seen it.
Well, and it's because of that I embraced a bracket-free lifestyle about a decade ago. Because, and I'm trying to teach my kids this as well, because they spent the weekend wallowing that Arizona went out in the first round, that Purdue went out in the second round, that you're losing. I've lost my Final Four teams and the tournament hasn't even started. Embrace the bracket-free lifestyle, because then you can enjoy every second of it. I'm with you. And the other thing that I don't care about when you say who cares, everybody's worried about the TV ratings of how this Final Four is going to go. And I know we're in TV, at least you are. I just come here and moonlight once a week. So I know the executives probably don't love the matchups, because last year they did have 4 blue bloods. It was a historic Final Four in that regard. So the TV numbers, the ticket prices probably down in Houston aren't what they might be, but I could not care less about that. You've got compelling stories. You mentioned the Florida angle. San Diego State, finally getting an opportunity. They were a great team the COVID year. They didn't get an opportunity to play that tournament. And by the way, UConn does qualify as a blue blood. They have as many, if not more, national championships since 1999. So in terms of here's my favorite part about the NIL deal, though, Pierre, is that Miami has a very expensive team, from what it sounds like, right? They've got a couple of guys. They've got one guy in Miami that just wants the Canes to be good. He's bankrolling the whole thing. What I love, though, is people are saying, well, he kind of just bought a team. It's a little unethical. It's not really fair that he can just write a check. Number one, that's been going on for as long as we've all been alive. Now it's just legal. And number two, you can't say on one hand, student athletes should be able to profit off their name, image, and likeness, and then be surprised when somebody wants to pay them a bunch of money. So I love it. I'm fine with it. I'm excited for the games this weekend.
I'm picking UConn this weekend. If you watch UConn play this tournament, they have looked absolutely solid. So I'm going with UConn in the Final Four.
Next up, Timberwolves player Rudy Gobert is mad over the officiating from the Suns game earlier this week where the Wolves lost. He went as far to say that he thought the refs were intentionally trying to help the Suns. The Wolves are still working to get into those playoffs. Justin, I think I read, well, I know I did, that you said something like Target Center will be insane tonight as they take on the Lakers, but also a tough loss with Naz Reid out indefinitely with a broken wrist. Yeah,
you can call me Captain Obvious that LeBron and Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell coming to town. Huge game for the Wolves, and really the next 5 are big because we've said on this show, the Western Conference playoff standings, Pierre, are like your 401k. You don't want to look at it every single day because that's how volatile it is. The Wolves just not even playing on Thursday night, they dropped a spot, right? Mm-hmm. So it's absolutely crazy. The Naz Reid thing, I think that's where we should start, and people are probably wondering, really, that's that big of a loss? Yes.
Yeah, it is.
He's been playing unbelievably essentially since the All-Star break, and the conversation when Karl Anthony Towns was coming back was, how do you still get minutes for Naz? Even the other night, they lost against Phoenix. Naz was very good. He's become very important for them, and it just gives them another option if Karl does get into foul trouble, or if you have to take Gobert off the floor for a matchup deal or whatever it is. But it's going to be wild. I mean, it's going to go down to the last Sunday. I think they play the Pelicans on Sunday, April 9th. That game will have significance. I mean, a lot of times those last games, those fan appreciation games, it's mostly just set your lineups for the postseason. In the Western Conference this year, every single game is going to have significance for where teams are and where teams aren't.
He's not going to win the league's Sixth Man of the Year award, but Naz Reid has been the Sixth Man of the Year for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think there's any debate about it. I really don't. And losing him is a massive deal for this team, especially because he's another guy, like you said, when Cat goes off the floor, Cat, who's the self-proclaimed best big man shooter ever
of all time
of all time in the NBA. And I think he has a case for that. But Naz Reid can step behind the three-point line and knock it down as well. So that is a significant loss for Minnesota. Now, going back to Gobert, talking about the officiating, it's obviously you can't have this. And if you're Adam Silver, you don't love to see this because you can't have players calling out the integrity of the officials night in and night out. But however, over the last couple of years, and especially this year, this has gone on longer and longer, and has happened more and more, it seems, with each passing game. I don't know what the recipe is in terms of fixing it. Maybe the official, they got a tough job. I'm not going to dispute that whatsoever. Right. But when you have players on a nightly basis kind of looking around and thinking to yourself, what is going on here with some of these calls? And Chris Finch, kind of alluded to it after the game the other day. It's saying, hey, well, I guess the Suns complaining about not getting foul calls kind of worked because the free throw disparity, I think it was 27-12 or whatever it was in that game. And you kind of think to yourself, well, I mean, that's kind of a big disparity. So does it work when you cry and complain to the league? Maybe you'll get a call. I don't know, but I think the league has a little bit of a problem on its hands with its officiating.
Well, because like you said, every team thinks they're getting jobbed by the official. I mean, LeBron James maybe had the most infamous non-call of the whole year when Jason Tatum took his arm off and he didn't get the call. And LeBron, of all people, is saying, I don't know what I have to do to get a call. It's crazy. But I don't believe it's a conspiracy against the Wolves. No. But I do think they do get a bad whistle every once in a while.
Could be.
So just play through it, though. You can't worry about that. Just play through it.
Welcome back to Enough Said. The NFL had its annual league meeting this week in Phoenix. It brings together League Commissioner Roger Goodell and team front office members. They discussed possibly flexing Sunday night games on Thursdays, but then there would be some season ticket holder concerns, of course. Players can now use the 0 as a jersey number. Sounds like the hot topic was the future of quarterbacks Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. Justin?
Yeah, well, what I love about the meeting, first of all, number 0, we're happy for him. Secondly, flexing games into Thursday, what a just disastrous idea. The only idea that's worse than that is the neutral site conference championship games.
Terrible.
Well, we sold 50,000 seats in Atlanta in 10 minutes. Well, yeah, because people wanted to go. That doesn't mean that they should. I hate that idea. And, the Vikings rarely get to host an NFC championship game, so I wouldn't even want to give up that, faint, I guess, moment in my life. I think they've had like one in my lifetime, but no, I want that possibility. The Aaron Rodgers thing to me is funny in that this is going to go on really until it doesn't anymore, right, Pierre? I mean, my favorite visual kind of side-by-side comparison was Kevin O'Connell's table with like a person and a half like feigning interest in what the Vikings head coach has to say. Coming off a division title, by the way. And then the Green Bay Packers contingent table, which was like standing room only. You've been in those scrums. You've got people holding arms over shoulders. Elbows are probably flying. But that's because he's A-Rod's, right? And you've got Packers people going, well, we never heard from the guy. So at some point we had to move on. I do, though. I love the drama. I love the soap opera. I love everything that comes with it.
This league sometimes reminds me of the early stages of the Roman Empire where you have already conquered everything and now you're just fat and bored and looking for things to do. Like finding a neutral site game for conference champion. Man, did that just put my hair on fire. If I was a 1 seed in a conference and I worked all season long to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and then suddenly, I have to travel to a neutral site. No. Listen to me, NFL. No, absolutely not. Aaron Rodgers, I think, will eventually get traded. That will sort itself out. I know that there's, they could save themselves some money post June 1. I get it, which, I mean, that could drag out into June. I can see that happening. Lamar Jackson is a very curious story for me because I know that there are people who are concerned. I know it might not work financially for them to trade for him. I get that. I buy that. But I don't really buy the notion that you're worried about his overall health. He's missed a couple of games over the last few years. I get that. And I know it's important in a league where you only have 17 games, missing 2, 3, 4 games on your starting quarterback. I get that's a big deal. But I don't understand. This has been a very curious situation to me, Justin, because I don't understand why you wouldn't want to take the risk on a guy like Lamar Jackson, an MVP in this league, who has already he has a proven track record in this league. I know you can maybe criticize maybe he doesn't throw the ball all that well at times.
I think that's it. Yeah.
But I don't know why you wouldn't want to take a chance on Lamar Jackson. I just don't get it.
Quick final point.
Well, I don't think that there's collusion going against Lamar, because that's the other thing on the other side of it, because so many teams are already coming out and saying we're not interested, which is kind of rare. But I also think some people don't want to pay a quarterback, $300, $400, $200 million, whatever it is, because it does become at some point.
Yes, it does.
It does weigh you down a little bit. So I understand it. I mean, I think part of the problem is, too, he's doing this all on his own. And the last couple of years, he's had nobody really advocating for him either. So, but that one is curious. I think that's the right word for it.
The Twins season is off to a winning start. 1 game in, they beat the Royals in Kansas City on opening day. The Twins' home opener is next Thursday. We'll have several crews out there to celebrate. Hopefully the weather cooperates, though. I think right now it's around like 30s and clear. hopefully, with this snowstorm coming in and stuff, that's all
Can you take it one more second to flex how many crews you're going to send out? Who's all going out there? Where they're going?
I'm not going to name anyone, but several people, and we're setting up
lots
that could
of
be
interviews, a draw as well.
It's going to be lots of fun.
You want people to come out early, see Pierre when it's 27 degrees and snowing. That's my favorite, when you put Pierre outside when it's like 30 degrees.
That's what everybody loves.
He does not like it. I've texted him on the morning show before. Said, hey, I can tell you love being out there and you love your life right now. First of all, you had to wake up early.
I did.
On baseball, it almost felt like it was moving too fast on opening day because of the pitch clock.
Okay.
But I'm not complaining. Okay. It just felt like it was because I'd become so accustomed to games taking forever, and more specifically, pitchers and batters taking forever, that as I looked up, I'm thinking, these guys better hurry. This is unbelievable. The pitcher's getting the ball, and he's throwing it, and the batter's just standing there waiting. I think like an hour of real time had elapsed, and we were in the 5th or 6th inning. This might be the greatest rule tweak or rule change in the history of sports, and I know that's prisoner of the moment and hyperbolic, but I can't emphasize enough how enjoyable it was to watch that opening day game, Twins-Royals. First of all, Buxton didn't get hurt on the triple. That was promising.
Thank goodness.
He got up, popped up, and scored. He's got a couple of days off now to rest. But the pitch clock, revolutionary. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I think and like you mentioned in the game itself, Pablo Lopez getting the ball, starting the year, a guy who we traded for Luis Arias going back to Miami.
They need him.
Looked pretty good in the opening day. I like what I saw there. And like you said, the pitch clock, it didn't seem to bother me. I still will absolutely die on the hill of the extra inning man on second starting. No, that's not baseball, not real baseball. I will absolutely.
That's wonky. I could hear that. I don't hate it, but I could understand why others might.
I would absolutely die on that hill. No problem. Here's my other issue. Okay. We start the season on a Thursday, right? They're off today. Why? I know that there's like a worry about weather because it's early in the season.
We're in a winter storm. Have you not been staying sky aware?
Listen,
we're in a winter storm warning here in Minnesota, all over the country.
How do you have an opening day and then have the next day off only to play on Saturday and Sunday? Have a 4-game series. If there's weather, you schedule it for later. This has not been a problem in the past. Why do you make me wait an extra day? Once you just give me baseball, and now I have to wait an extra day to get more baseball? Stop it already. Get rid of that.
You got to stay sky aware, man. You don't understand. There's more snow coming.
Again, Pierre's
all
not
over
from
the country.
I have been on this show on the record saying the Twins should not host a home game until May, and I stand by it.
I actually wouldn't hate that either.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
Thank you very much.
Exciting news, Fox 9 and the Minnesota Aurora, the state's pre-professional soccer team, are partnering up to broadcast all of the team's home games. Everything kicks off with the home opener on May 24th, so their home openers in May.
That's smart.
You can catch all the action on Fox 9 Plus and Fox 9's YouTube channel. And then here's where we bring up our general manager, Mim Kessler.
The greatest boss ever. I've agreed with all of her decisions, all of them.
She says Fox 9 Plus is your ticket to local sports and that we are proud to bring Aurora's passionate fans the coverage they deserve, Justin.
Is that an official statement?
It is an official statement.
Or did she just like text you
It was
that?
in the press release. No, she didn't text me that.
Yes. Well, I mean, you look at it. Vikings Game Day Live, the PJ Flex Show, the Gopher Coaches Show, Gopher the pregame show.
Don't forget the Gopher pregame show that you were the star of.
Yeah, that's right. Which I think is probably the most important, probably the flagship show of Fox 9's local sports coverage. We could never lose that. I'm ready for your role to expand, though, as the guy who likes soccer more than anybody I know. I think voice of the Aurora would look good on your business card. How do we get that done?
I was about to say, we mentioned our fearless leader, Mim Davy Kessler, but I haven't gotten a phone call yet saying, hey, you know what, Pierre, we would like you to be the voice of the Minnesota Aurora.
You know what?
Which I would say, you know what, Mim? Not only would I do it, I would do it at a marginal discount for you as well for extra. Not free. I mean, I'm not losing my mind completely.
Well, I'm grabbing my phone here because she actually just texted me. She said, tell Pierre that I did call him, but it was at 9 in the morning. He wasn't awake yet.
That is true.
He missed the call. That's what I just got.
Lori knows never to call me before probably 10:30, even though she does sometimes. But I mean, because I leave my phone on Do Not Disturb. So once it starts vibrating, I know somebody needs to get a hold on me, and 9 times out of 10 it's Lori just to tell me something she could have told me at 11 o'clock instead of 10:30.
That's true. One question, Lori, how many times is enough said preempted because of Aurora coverage? That's the other thing we need to iron out.
Not at all. I don't think at all right now.
Got it all sorted out?
I should probably, I don't think so.
Let's check that.
Let me see. Do I have the dates here?
I'll call games for that team.
We'll do enough said from the Aurora game.
And I did almost call Pierre at 8 o'clock this morning, and I thought, nope.
Oh, that would have been bad.
Not going to do it. We're going to talk about a new way to date next.
Oh, man.
Oh, perfect. Glad Pierre's here.
Great.
It's time for the lightning round with Justin and Pierre filling in for Dan tonight. Talk about sticker shock. Some Ivy League schools are approaching the $90,000 a year price tag. Brown, $88,000, $87,000 for Cornell. That's more than a 4.5% increase from last year. The median household income in the U.S., though, $71,000. Justin, yikes.
I guess my kids aren't going to Harvard.
Yep.
I guess this.
I mean, there is financial aid and scholarships, but still.
Well, the only thing better than $90,000 a year is $90,000 a year for 4 years that you have to finance and then pay back later. And I guess if you are one of, how many presidents has Harvard had, Pierre? It's like a half dozen, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I guess if you become president, it might be worth the investment.
College,
but man, that's a tough
college.
sell.
If you're not gonna be a doctor, or a lawyer, or an engineer, college is overrated. Go learn a trade,
I agree.
kids.
I
Go
agree.
learn a
I
trade.
agree totally.
Go be a TikTok star. You're gonna make a lot more money.
Yeah, just
doing
be
that
an
anyway.
influencer.
Just
There are
make
many
money.
paths
Who
to
cares?
go.
Just be an influencer.
College
Let
is
them
overrated.
pay you
Don't
to go to
need it.
college.
Here we go.
That happens.
She's an influencer. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow won her court battle in Park City, Utah. She was being sued for a ski collision in 2016. She fought the claim because she said it compromised her integrity. As I said last week, I couldn't get enough of this trial. But you two, not interested.
No.
Not even a little.
No.
Not even a little. Well, this is the latest trial that you can't get enough of. Every month there seems to be, which leads me to believe that there is some, because they know that, the TV networks.
Yeah, remember the Johnny Depp one?
I do, because we talked about it for 3 straight weeks on this
I
show.
do. Yes.
Also not interested in that. I'm not convinced that we're not going to find out. This is like a reality TV trial channel that they're testing out. And this is just, and these are all going to be shows at some point.
Also, not interested in skiing.
Really?
I have no interest.
I actually have a lot of anxiety over skiing.
Well, there you have it.
I'm right there with you.
She hangs at the chalet usually while her family hits the slopes.
I
By
do.
the way,
I like to look good on the hill.
Maybe
but,
the most pretentious word in the dictionary. Chalet. Chalet. Oh, I'm gonna hang by the chalet.
Are
The
dating
chalet.
apps a thing of the past? Instead of swiping left or right, there's a new dating experiment called the Pair Ring. You wear a $26 green ring as a symbol to show that you're single. Ring holders get access to free events in the city that they're in.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Pierre.
It's too complicated.
As the only single person on this show, no, dumb. Here, I'll save you the time. Hey, ladies, I'm single. The end.
Hold on, follow up.
Yeah.
Are you ready to mingle?
Well, that's for me to know, for you to find out. So yeah,
single's one thing. Ready to mingle.
Right.
I'd like you to have a ring to signify that.
I'm out at a bar, so I'm probably am ready to mingle. That's your first indication that I probably am.
By definition,
get
you're
you.
mingling.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, that is correct.
We
Yes.
want you to try out for Love is Blind. Audition for that
Again
show.
with this. Why? How many people are going to tell me I got to go on this Love is Blind show?
We
Well,
just want happiness for you, man.
Yeah,
We
do you?
do.
Do you? I think you want your own entertainment. That's what I think of what you guys want.
I would
There's
love
some
to
of that
watch
too.
Yeah,
here
there's
on
some
that
of
show. State Fair news, Boys to Men here. You
Yes.
can take
Here we
someone
go.
on a date.
All right.
Boys to Men and
Here we
Shaka
go.
Khan performing Sunday, August 27th. Tickets on sale as of today. Yes, totally.
It's a pretty good lineup.
Boys
Yes.
to Men I saw in Detroit, and I saw them at the Minnesota Orchestra, and they would be
well,
worth seeing again
we're
for
very
sure.
happy for
Shaka
you.
Khan is awesome.
Yeah, this is, we're talking our generation here, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, this is our generation right here. This is outstanding. Will I go to the show? Maybe.
Yeah, it's on a Sunday
Maybe.
night. And finally, April 1st could be the end. No April Fools here. The end of the blue check mark on Twitter for many of us legacy users here.
Is that what we're
Yeah.
called?
I mean, in all honesty, I think that's going to mess with me for the first little bit because it was for the longest time. It was a way to know who's verified and who's not, so you know you're getting the real content. So you're going to have to really kind of pay attention to some of these fake accounts out there that claim to be these big celebrities or big media personalities. So just pay attention when you're on Twitter.
Take
Don't
a
get duped.
screen grab now of your account just so that you can show who's who.
And think about Lori this weekend because no one worked harder to get that blue check mark, and then within 10 minutes they announced they were all going away unless.
And you never cared about it, Justin. Enough said.
I'm verified
You
by the
didn't
people.
need the check
By the
mark
way,
to make
I don't
you
need
feel
the
good.
validation.
End of the road, Boys to Men. What a banger.
All of it.
On
So
bended
good.
knee.
On bended knee.
knee.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So good.
That's a good one. Motown Philly.